This racing game developer is the next Pirate Software. Let's see what's going on with that.
So I don't quite know how to begin this video because it's gonna be a bit of an awkward one. I guess let me just start by saying, generally speaking, I love and respect any kind of indie
I
developer.
don't know who this guy is. This is Dustin Eden Extra, 8.6K. I don't know who he is. No clue. He got the Pepe Frog in the back and some like weeb shit, so maybe he's all right.
I think making your own game from scratch, especially if you're a sole developer, is extremely difficult and takes a lot of time, a lot of resources. I think generally I've been also trying to become a little bit more supportive towards indie developers and indie projects. So for example, way back in 2022, I did like an entire video on Art of Rally. It was kind of like more talking about the camera in the game, but the video was definitely more about Art of Rally, which to this day I think is still one of my favorite indie racing game experiences of all time. But even recently, I made a full-on review on JDM, Japanese Drift Master, which was a fairly new indie racing game that I really just wanted to check out and make a video.
The guy who made that game came into my stream. We were talking back and forth. He helped make JDM, fucking Drift Master or whatever.
So believe me when I say I want to actually support the indie racing game scene. I'm not making this video because I hate indie developers or whatever, but this is just a weird, isolated case where I just have to talk about a project and the person behind the project because it's just really interesting. It's like the kindest way I can put it.
Inspired, yeah,
so what we're talking about here is a indie racing game called Overjump Rally. So currently the game is not available. There was a demo at some point in 2022. Unfortunately, it has been taken down for unknown reasons that we will probably never know. But basically, all you have to know is that this is a Unreal Engine 5 sort of pseudo remake or homage to the old Sega Rally games. This is something I think is super rad. I think this is a cool idea. I think just from the screenshots,
what the fuck happened?
Looks quite nice. But this is a project that I've also been aware of for a couple of years now, and I just kind of had like an eye on for like a little bit. And yeah, I was just really excited to just see more of this. Maybe like an extended demo at some point down the line, or maybe a release or of some kind. Yeah, once again, this demo released in 2022 has been taken down, and there has been no updates. Maybe behind closed doors with like select people, there have been a few, but as far as what the public can access, this was it.
Is this supposed to be a free game?
Been nothing.
That's a,
now, in general, I would say this is fine. Obviously, this is an indie project, and so far nothing has been sold, no money has been exchanged. So really, this guy can take as long as he wants with this project. But it still makes me a little bit sad to see that this guy is basically wasting all of his... There's been nothing. The public can access. This was it. There has been nothing. Now, in general, I would say this is fine. Obviously, this is an indie project, and so far nothing has been sold, no money has been exchanged. So really, this guy can take as long as he wants.
True, he doesn't have. He holds no Kickstarter, no nothing. This guy can take as long as he wants on his game, and you know he can do what he wants with it. He has that right to, right? He has no obligation to anybody but himself to release a game. So you can't complain about it.
With this project, but it still makes me a little bit sad to see that this guy is basically wasting all of his time doing literally anything else but work on the game. At least it seems that way. And what makes this especially saddening is that...
I mean, that's just you as a consumer wanting the game to be out now, right? He could take a whole fucking year off of the game if he wanted to. He has no obligation to anybody who's you know, I mean, if he has a Patreon or anything like that, or people who are supporting him, that would probably be an issue. Like if people are paying you on your Patreon to actually work on games, this would be something akin to Yandere Dev, right? Yandere Dev is he's getting a paycheck from supporters. Yeah, Life Happens is not pre-bag, true. Yandere Dev is like around the same case because he's been developing that game for fucking over 10 years now, and he's got you know, people in his Patreon. I mean, he was making like 4G. I think he's still making 4Gs every month. doing his game. Let's check that out real quick. I know I go off on tangents, guys. Hold on a second. Yandere Dev Patreon. Okay, it's gone down significant, but he's still getting $1,000 a month. He's still getting $1,000 a month on his shit. Still a hell of a lot of members, man. I wish my numbers looked like that shit. Would never do a Kickstarter for my project for this exact reason. True.
The guy who works on this, who I'm just gonna call Xander, which is his online alias, is a pretty experienced guy. Like he, as he's saying himself here, he has been a VFX super advisor and VFX artist for the past 16 years. Something that he loves to keep boasting about. So much so that if you look up VFX under his Twitter handle, you will find out countless of mentions. Like, he mentions this constantly.
Alright, who cares?
This kind of reminds me of the Pirate Software, like, I've been working at Blizzard for 15 years thing.
If he's lying, if this guy is actually a VFX and he's just saying what he's done, this is his credentials, right? Pirate Software is highly arrogant, but he is doing VFX art, right? Yeah, if this is the case. If it's not, if he's lying that he was a VFX artist or a dev, like Pirate Software did, Pirate Software, embellishing his accolades while he was at Blizzard. If this guy's not saying that, then whatever. Bringing it up all the time is kind of a red flag. Like, oh, I was this, oh, I was that. That is kind of that is a red flag when it comes to this shit. But
we're still going.
If I mean, maybe he's just proud of it. Maybe he's just proud of it.
Now, this was a reply to a tweet from Dove7, where things were getting a little bit spicy. This is like just a little teaser. We'll get to this. But this is just kind of where things stood for the most part. I'm not sure when exactly I found out about the project. I think it must have been shortly after the demo released. Yeah, I've just been kind of like patiently waiting, playing other stuff until then. And I figured, hey, maybe at some point I'll hear from this guy and there's like some kind of demo. But yeah, once again, it is now 2025. It has been 3 years and there has been nothing other than the demo actually getting taken offline. But despite that, he has been in my own Twitter mentions, just basically advertising his game. And in a way that doesn't even make sense to me. So like my initial tweet here was, need me a modern racing game with crusty ass PS1 graphics. And then he replied, I can do the opposite. A retro racing game with UE5 next gen graphics.
All right.
Okay, so 2 things. First of all, that is not what I was asking for. And second of all, you have nothing to share. And I can imagine, like, if there are any indie developers watching this video right now, they must be getting some really bad secondhand embarrassment from this, because...
Secondhand embarrassment from what? The dude's just replying to a tweet. I'm sweeping a little bit, all right? No, I can't believe in my mind that, I mean, man, there can't be that many game devs out there that are just, like, unruly, like Pirate Software, and Phil Fish, right? I feel like Phil Fish and Pirate Software are just, like, 2 fucking unicorns in a sea of shit, right? I don't know any other game devs that have been like that crazy. Okay? This is just a fucking tweet. He's just replying. He's like, okay, so need me a modern racing game with crusty ass graphics. He's like, okay, he's just trying to be funny or witty. I can do the opposite. All right? Dude's reading into it too much.
The opposite. A retro racing game with UE5 next gen graphics. Okay, so 2 things. First of all, that is not what I was asking for. And second of all, you have nothing to share.
He has a Steam page. He's got the screenshots that he shared. He had a demo as well. I mean, he shared plenty, didn't he? You already knew about this game, so he did have something to share.
And I can imagine, like, if there are any indie developers watching this video right now, they must be getting some really bad secondhand embarrassment from this, because this is just not good etiquette for how to approach content creators or generally people to check out your game. Usually all of us content creators, we have a business email, usually linked on our YouTube.
What the fuck is this guy saying? He's replied to a tweet. He replied to a tweet. He didn't even say, play my game. He just said, I can do the opposite. He's just replying to a tweet. He's scrolling. He's fucking normal scrolling Andy. Sees something. He's like, oh shit, I'm actually making a game, that's kind of like the opposite of this. It'd be funny to funny to fucking say, hey, I can do the opposite. How about a retro game with, whatever. He's acting like he's reaching out to him and being like, hey, play my game. This guy, content creator, 8,000 people, like, I'm sure he's just fucking dying to get you on the bill, brother. He needs your fucking viewers to see this game.
That people can just contact us directly to if they want us to check out their games. Like, every month I get a couple of requests from new indie developers that are like, that write like a formal email with like, hey, we love your content, we watched this and that video, we liked it, here's what our game is about, here's what we're working on, here's what it's gonna be like. And if they are able to, they actually share like a key or some kind of downloadable demo for me to check out. And usually I do like these kinds of approaches. Like, I think it's really cool that, I think it's a huge privilege that people work on stuff and then they go to me and want me to check it out. And if they do this through the right channels, like through my business email, and they present their project, there's a high likelihood I actually check out the
He didn't ask you to do anything. Unless you're about to show it.
game. However, looking through my mails, there's nothing here. Like,
does he show? Is that the only response that he does? I can do. This is it. This is it. Your fucking posts need me a modern racing game with crusty ass PS1 graphics, and this is all he posts. And you're fucking crashing out over that. That's crazy, dude.
mails.
You need a. You're not allowed to use Twitter and reply to me. You're supposed to go through my business email. Shut the fuck up.
There's nothing here. Like, if I look for Overjump Rally, his game, there's nothing here. So, once again, like, this is just not the proper etiquette, you know? But this is just kind of how he does this. Like, so for example, here is...
Who fucking cares? Who cares? This guy's... What? This is like the opposite. I came in for a Pirate Software game dev, and I get a Pirate Software fucking YouTuber. Who is this guy? What does he do? The most ordinary racing game... Okay, it's just racing game shit. Okay. Just racing game shit. I mean, not bad views. It is in a niche. Okay, alright, I can see it. But still... I don't think he's like this is not him reaching out and saying, yeah, it looks like Dustin a bit is entitled. Yeah. This is not this isn't a reach out. He didn't even say, hey, play my game, blah blah blah, and here's a fucking code or any mess. Like, he didn't DM you or anything like that.
It's like another random tweet where I guess like some kind of like Sega related website or journal is specifically asking for Sega fan art that isn't Sonic, Yakuza, or Persona related. And he's like, my game is technically a Sega fan art.
He didn't use my email.
No, it's not. You're making a game. That is not what he's asking for. What does he even want with you? Like, it's secondhand embarrassment. However, if that's
really,
where things stood, I would be like, you know what? Whatever. You know, he can do what he wants as long as he keeps working on the game. I'd probably still check it out. Whatever, no big deal. However, over the last year or so, I want to say, he has been repeatedly in some kind of drama that painted not just him, but also his game project in a worse and worse light. So here's where this initially started. So you can see some gameplay of the game here if you've been wanting to check it out. And back then, this was just roughly around the time when either the Steam Deck was still coming out or was still very new. I'm not entirely sure. And his MO back then, like, keep in mind, this is like mid-2022. He stated that he wants Steam to be his major platform, and he's also going to have graphical settings in the game specifically for the Steam Deck.
Okay.
Once again, here's another example where he states, I definitely want to do Steam Deck optimization. And I was like, hey, awesome, what a cool idea, right? But keep in mind, those tweets were from 2022. And so if we fast forward, roughly 3 years later, his opinion on the Steam Deck and how he wants to support the Steam Deck, for some weird reason, has done a complete 180. Like, in here, he is quote tweeting a post that states how much the Steam Deck has sold worldwide in the last 3 years. And he kind of ridicules how little the Steam Deck has actually been selling.
Okay, so the post you're talking about is from over 2 years ago. This right here. This is over 2 years. I mean, what? 3 years ago, bro. Of course, Steam is going to be my major platform. I'm also going to have graphic settings specifically for Steam Deck. Shit changes within 3 years. Your opinion on what platform you want to release on can change. Like, mine can change tomorrow. All right? This
in
guy's
the
a
fucking, I definitely
he's an
want to do
idiot.
Steam.
Yes, yeah, 2021. The other one was 2022. It's 2025 now. That's the one that's the post he's going off of.
Roughly 3 years later, his opinion on the Steam Deck and how he wants to support the Steam Deck, for some weird reason, has done a complete 180.
That's fine. That's fine. In the interest of probably saving time to get the game out faster, just lack of skill with optimization. Unreal Engine's pipeline has issues with the optimization anyways, from what I heard. Unreal Engine 5 is not well optimized from what I heard. My Steam Deck collects dust and need to use it more. And that's another reason too. A lot of people don't use I'm sure there's a lot of Steam Deck users, but if sales are tanking and sales are crashing, they're hard to get a hold of, and not everyone wants to drop fucking $600 on a fucking Steam Deck. You can like throw a couple hundred more dollars on there and get a nice desktop or a laptop, you know.
Like in here, he is quote tweeting a post that states how much the Steam Deck has sold worldwide in the last 3 years, and he kind of ridicules how little the Steam Deck has actually been selling.
Yeah. He's entitled to do that. He can ridicule if he wants. Okay, if he sees something's doing bad, he can make a comment on that. He's not supposed why are you holding him to a higher standard than any other asshole online? Because he's making a video game? I don't understand.
Indie game has to run on the Steam Deck, or you're missing out on a big chunk of the market. Crowd is very quiet all of a sudden, kind of implying that you don't really need to appeal to the Steam Deck crowd if you want your indie game to sell. Which, that is such a weird take for so many reasons. There is no reason not to support the Steam Deck if you are able to. Like, as the
If you are able to. Again, this guy is not a developer, from what I can tell from his YouTube channel. I see just a bunch of JDM shit and racing game fucking shit on here. So, you know, he could be a developer. He could know more than me about it. You know what I mean? But from first glance, I'm gonna assume that he's not a developer and doesn't know what goes into actually creating a game, other than, you know, layman shit. But there is issues with Unreal Engine's pipeline and optimization. Optimization is very hard whenever you're trying to target certain things. Okay.
He was quoting was indicating there have been up to 4 million units sold. So that is around 4 million users you are writing off that could put.
Depends on the tool set. Can be as easy as choosing a build category, but not always. Okay. I'll look it up here in a second.
That's potential sales that you are just completely writing off. And
that's his right that is his right as a developer. If he doesn't want to target the Steam Deck, he does not have to. He is allowed to change his mind on what he's developing. He is not accepting cash from it. He's not making any promises based on a monetary incentive. He is not beholden to anybody. He is allowed to change his mind, and he is allowed to take as long as he wants on the fucking game because no one's paying him for it.
Reason for not wanting to support the Steam Deck seems to be here. So my game should look like hundreds of other games to cover that, instead of looking better and actually getting noticed? What are you talking about, dude? I mean, yeah, sure, if you want to make your game available on Steam Deck, there's a good chance you're gonna have to like lower a bunch of graphics settings for it to run properly, but what do you mean with should look like hundreds of other games? What does that even mean? And I'm not sure what you mean with looking better. I'm just gonna say this outright. I didn't initially want to say this, but your game looks like the most average Unreal Engine 5 game I have ever seen. Like, unless you do some really hard work to implement some kind of like art style through the UI or the menus, it looks like...
Well, he's a visual effects artist, so maybe there's a hindrance with using the VFX he wants with the Steam Deck or anything like that, because that is pretty taxing as well. Who's the LolCow here? I just showed up. Yeah, the person who made the video, apparently. I'm more on the side of the developer than I am this guy.
Any other Unreal Engine 5 game I have ever seen. I'm sorry. And I don't think more people would buy your game because it looks good. Like, who actually still buys games for graphics?
A lot of people. A lot of people do. Okay? Especially, I'm sure in this niche, this racing game niche, I'm sure people are like, "Oh shit, those graphics are pretty nice," and they'll fucking buy it. Okay, especially if it's an indie game, you know. Like, damn, an indie game with some shine and glitter. Damn, I'm gonna scoop that up. This shit looks AAA. I hope it plays nice. You know. If you put a fucking pixel art game like mine next to this guy's fucking Unreal Engine 5 racing game, no matter what genre I have, this could be like the dopest fucking racing game or fucking skateboarding, roguelike, fucking card game ever if it's in pixel art. The new Unreal Engine 5 glitter and glam is probably going to generate more sales. Let's be real here. Graphics are like the first things people look at. Exactly.
Especially indie games.
No matter if it's like the racing game would probably get picked 9 times out of 10 opposed to my obscure indie game, right?
Like, if you want to play something for graphics, you look at the big AAA stuff.
No, you don't have to. That's the point. Indie games are coming along. It doesn't matter if AAA produces it or not. Right? Indie games now can have better graphics sometimes than fucking AAA studios. You do not need to fucking play a AAA title just for graphics. I don't know what this guy's argument is right now. Hold on.
Or the menus, it looks like any other Unreal Engine 5 game I have ever seen. I'm sorry. And I don't think more people would buy your game because it looks good.
Yes, they would.
Like, who actually still buys games for graphics?
Everybody.
Especially indie games. Like, if you want to play something for graphics, you look at the big AAA stuff.
Nope, don't
Indie games specifically mainly get bought because of the gameplay. So the graphics hardly matter. Like, no one is gonna buy your game because it looks like an average
Both matter, okay? If your game is shit, if your gameplay is shitty, no one's gonna play it, okay? Indie games can get away with having good gameplay and shitty graphics. Games like Vampire Survivors, Schedule 1, not really great graphics, but it's still 3D graphics, right? But the gameplay is amazing. Repo, Repo has great graphics, I think. You know, it's nice and quirky, okay? Indie games can get away with having bad graphics, but having good graphics and good gameplay is definitely a winner and a plus.
Engine 5 game. But he still insists on this, right? Like, he's saying Steam Deck is a niche market, less than 2%. There's no point in considering it when making next-gen visuals. And while it is true that the Steam Deck only makes up around like 2 to 3% of the overall market on Steam of Steam users, what he either doesn't understand or seems to deliberately ignore is that Steam Deck users are more likely to buy and play more games than the average Steam users, particularly indie games. Like, you have to consider that the vast majority of Steam users only use Steam to play 1 or 2 games. Stuff like Counter-Strike or Dota or whatever, like these big multiplayer titles. That's what the vast majority of PC players on Steam is actually playing, whereas the 4 million Steam Deck users, those are the kind of people that would want to play and buy your game. In fact, check out some of Steam's...
I have to disagree. I think the guy who's got a nice PC setup, nice PC rig, with the fucking, with the steering wheel and the foot pedals, that's the guy who's going to want to play this racing game, okay? Now, be that as it may, there are probably users that are fine just using a fucking controller or mouse and keyboard, whatever input device, but I highly suspect if you're definitely in this niche and you enjoy racing games like this, you have a fucking racing rig, okay? Battlefield 6 won't work on my Steam Deck. Yeah.
Own list of the top 100 games played on Steam Deck. So while you will still have some AAA games on here, literally the number 2 spot is Vampire Survivors, an indie game. Number 3 spot.
You can't compare Vampire Survivors with this fucking racing game. Vampire Survivors isn't made, like, it's not made in Unreal Engine 5 and it's not as taxing on graphics or visual effects or anything like that. None of, like, Baldur's Gate, I'm not sure, I never played Baldur's Gate. Dave the Diver, no. Pal World, I don't know. Cyberpunk definitely is taxing, but Cyberpunk has good Red Engine and those guys over there, or Cyber fucking Red whatever. They've done a good job with like optimization and stuff, but they have like they have fucking thousands of people or hundreds of people on their team. Okay, thousands, not thousands, but hundreds.
Dave the Diver, which I guess technically is not an indie game, but could be considered
Dave the Diver is an indie game, isn't it?
as one. And then you have Pal World, an indie game. Stardew Valley, an indie game.
Yeah, pixel art games, you fucking dredge. Oh my god.
And Hades, Brotato, those are all indie games.
This guy is this guy is a retard.
And then if you compare this to the overall most played games on Steam, you'll have stuff like Counter-Strike, Dota, PUBG, right? Like, as you can see, there's such a big difference to what Steam users are playing and Steam Deck users are playing. So to still insist that he does not need to support the Steam Deck because no one's gonna play his game on the Steam Deck is such a hilarious self-own.
It's not. It's really not. Is CSGO still that popular? Yeah. Calling him a retard is offensive to retards. Yo, this guy. What? This can't be the way he thinks, man. He's got to be trolling. He's got the Pepe Frog in the background. He's definitely trolling. It's got to be. It's got to be.
And he has been players are playing. So to still insist that he does not need to support the Steam Deck because no one's gonna play his game on the Steam Deck is such a hilarious self-own.
It's not a cell phone. If he doesn't, again, he's not beholden to anyone. If he doesn't want to release a Steam Deck, he doesn't fucking have to. If he doesn't want to put in the extra work to optimize for the Steam Deck, he doesn't fucking have to. Right? I don't know what this guy's tripping about.
And he has been called out multiple times for this, for this take, but he still insists.
I think it's more people that are like, oh, you need to do it for the Steam Deck because they're fucking Steam Deck stands, right?
That this is
no, this is an important lesson for indie devs. I won't shut up.
An important lesson for indie devs, so I won't shut up. This is a dangerous lesson to teach. Like, and this is exactly the kind of stuff why I want to make a video on this.
What are you saying?
Because this is an important lesson multiple times. It's such a hilarious self-own, and he has been called out.
Okay.
Multiple times for this take, but he still insists that this is an important lesson for indie devs, so I won't shut up. This is a dangerous lesson to teach. Like, and this is why
I will say, replying to people, if you're a game dev, just don't ever reply, dude. That's probably like the biggest takeaway is don't ever reply if people are, me, I don't give a shit because, I just make bullshit anyways. Might be digging for content. I give him a pass if he could re-look at it or talk with the dev. True. I don't know. He might be digging for content, maybe. He fucking... he called him Pirate Software for what? Making a call about his own game? Yeah. A game that he's not accepting any cash from. He's doing it on his own. This guy, I can't believe he was able to garner views off Pirate Software's name in the racing game genre. That's what he did. This is
exactly the kind of stuff why I want to make a video on this. Is because the stuff he's virtue signaling is actually harmful. Like, if there's even one indie developer who takes his word as gospel, they're effectively harming their own game with this stuff.
No, not necessarily.
But what about his game, right? Like, it's been 3 years. Where is his game? Like, where are the updates? Has there ever been any demo? Unfortunately, no. And people keep asking for this. Like, pretty much any time he posts something about his game, there's at least one person that is asking any chance of a new demo. And he insists. Very, very soon. This was posted 2 months ago.
It takes time,
and once again, here, someone's asking.
It takes time to make a game. He probably pulled the demo to update the demo. It takes time. If he should have kept the demo up. He should have kept the demo up and kept working on a new one. If that was the case, it takes time to make games. It takes more than 2 months to whatever he's doing. He's either like making a new track or whatever, but it takes time, dude. This guy doesn't know.
When is the demo? And he's saying very soon. I've been busy with some gigs. What gigs? You spent most of your time on Twitter. You posted.
Okay, dude's got a life. Probably he's not making money from this, so obviously he's working. Right? He's got a full-time job probably. So yeah, he's got to work on some gigs. Got to work on some. Got to feed the family. Got to feed himself. Got to pay the bills, man.
At a rate of tweets per hour, dude. Like, this is not a joke. This guy actually spends like an unbelievable amount of time getting into random arguments on Twitter all the time. This is actually something that really reminds me of Yandere Dev, unfortunately.
Who doesn't do that? I mean, like, come on, man. Like, it's fucking Twitter. That's the whole point, right? You get on there, you talk some shit, you hop off, get back on, troll a little bit.
Where he's spending so much time just arguing with random people on social media instead of actually just shutting up and putting the time into his own game. And I'm gonna list a bunch of random examples that are gonna be gradually more and more controversial as we go on. So if you didn't know, iRacing is like a big simulator racing game, and they're making an arcade racer spin-off that has been announced recently. And he's asking, like, why the mobile game graphics though? Arcade games used to have the most advanced graphics in the business back in the 90s, but now they seem designed just for kids. Who cares? If this is the art style they wanted to choose for their first arcade racer, they can damn well do so. Like, it's just, like,
why does that argument exist for them and not him? You fucking what? Why does the argument exist for them but not him?
I think that he has like a really weird obsession with like hyper-realistic graphics, to the point where he just does not understand that why would you have a different art style than this. Like, this is clearly a small project and a new experiment for the iRacing team, so it makes sense that they're doing something that's a little bit easier to make, like on a smaller scale, with an art style that stands out a little bit more than your average hyper-realistic graphics. And like, especially as an indie developer, this is such a weird thing to criticize and scrutinize someone for. But this here was one of the more bigger controversies. So this was part of a, I want to say, like, kind of leak when it comes to Forza Horizon 6, where it was kind of unveiled that the people working on the next Forza Horizon actually flew out to Japan to scan and make photographs of various K cars, probably indicating that the next Forza Horizon is going to be located in Japan. And this is all anyone cared about. But for some reason, this guy came in here and was like, that's not how you scan a car, but whatever.
Who cares, dude? Who
cares? Like, this is not, like, who cares about the actual method of how they're putting the car into the game? That is not what people care about. What people care about is that this is a strong indicator for the next location of the next Horizon game.
Everyone knows taking $40K for a game and failing to make in 8 years is equivalent to not releasing a demo in 3. Yeah.
But his point with this, which we're gonna get into a little bit more later, is that he had an issue with the technicality of this. So in the post, in the caption of the photo, which I can show again right here, he's both using the words shooting cars and scanning cars, right? And in the photo, he's clearly like making photos of the car instead of like actually scanning them. Like, here's actually an article that kind of goes into the detail of how to put various cars into a racing game and the difference between, you know, shooting and using reference photos versus actually scanning it. And the main difference you really need to know is that for scanning a model, you're basically wrapping the entire car in some kind of like reflective foil, so to say. Versus if you're just making photos, you try to make as many photos from the car from as many angles as possible, and then you just kind of like overlap these photos when you're modeling the car. So these are two different methods to get a car into a game, and obviously the scanning method is a lot more costly because you have to bring all of the equipment, and usually the photographing is done for cars that aren't as relevant or aren't as important. And in this photo, the guy is implying that they are doing both, right? Like, he's using the words shooting cars, which is probably used for this car, even aware. This is not how you scan cars. This is not how you scan cars. But he insists that this is not how you scan cars. This is not how you scan cars. What this...
Yep. Don't do it. Well, I'm convinced... I'm convinced of with the dev's head. Oh, off with the dev's head, yeah. Like, you'd know. Do you? I know a thing or two about VFX and game development. See, this is just, you know... That's a little cringe. That's a little cringe. I don't know. I feel like the whole flexing, flexing the game dev shit's kind of cringe. But then again, I don't know. I'd probably say the same shit. Be like, hey, like, you know, if I knew about it, be like, nah, like, this is how they actually do it. You know?
he know? He's obviously not there. He's not part of the development team. He just doesn't understand that maybe they're doing both of these processes depending on which car deserves the scanning process more. But once again, he's just completely shutting off any kind of criticism that is thrown his way.
That's not criticism.
Rightfully.
That's not fucking criticism, okay? That's not criticism. You're a retard.
Asking, like, what do you know? And then once again, he's coming up with a...
No, it's a snarky retort. It's a snarky retort, like you know, LolCow. Do you? That is not criticism. Oh my god, dude. This guy is brain dead.
Basic excuse that he's been using a bunch of time, that he knows the thing about VFX and game development, as he's already clearly shown a bunch of times. I think the problem that he had with this post is in the quote, right? Where Wario64 is saying, scanning K cars for the next game.
Nonsense.
And then he's like, yeah, but that's not what he's doing in the picture. But that doesn't matter. He's still using the word scanning and referring to scanning cars in the caption, implying that while this might not be a car that they're scanning right now in this photo, they might still be scanning other K cars for the game. Like, I can't believe that I still have to argue about this, because it's such an irrelevant and unnecessary technicality that, as I said earlier, no one cares about. Except for him for some reason. And I want to just reiterate, he is constantly picking these kinds of arguments about pretty much anything. So here's a post about, I'm just going to be very transparent here, is completely out of my scope. Like, I have no idea what is being talked about here, but he is constantly arguing.
It's been out of your scope. It's been out of your scope, you fucking normie. I'm just kidding.
Random people on Twitter about the most random stuff. Scope. Like,
Right,
so here's a post about...
Okay. Mesh Blend is finally here. So proud to finally release what I've been working on for 16 months. Mesh Blend brings next generation blending to Unreal. Easy to use, fast, and great quality. Available on @Fab or Unreal for Unreal Engine now.
Kinds of arguments.
Okay, it's just something someone's
pretty much
worked on.
Anything. So here's a post about... I'm just going to be very transparent here.
Cool, but unfortunately inefficient. If you aren't affecting the underlying geometry and topology, looks really, really nice though. Awful take, it works as intended.
It's completely out of my scope. Like, I have no idea.
Yes, slowly. Slowly how? I didn't notice any performance impact, and it's quite simple to set up. Simple to set up is orthogonal to what I said. I don't know what the fuck that word means. Hold on. Of or involving right angles at right angles. What? Oh, statistically independent. Statistically independent. To be orthogonal means to intersect. No. It's a creative problem-solving method that involves drawing insights from seemingly unrelated or independent perspectives to gain new insights and solutions. Yes, slowly. Slowly how? I didn't notice. Okay. Okay, orthogonal would be like that's up to you, that's on your shit, right? That's your like it's simple to set up for you. It's inefficient because it leaves a bunch of geometry that will never be seen, but still must be transformed, etc. If your scene is simple enough that you still don't see a perfect impact, then great. It's still inefficient and wasteful.
What is being talked about here? But he is
so your solution is to create ad hoc models for each instance with a precision bevel. Also, Nanite doesn't care about that, as it would cull any triangles that's not seen. You are completely clueless about environment design in UE5, and my scene is far from being simple enough as whatever.
Simply arguing.
And you're clueless about rendering in general. I have better things to do than argue with a petulant child. Good luck with your game. I generally hope it does well. Of course, you have nothing to prove what you preach. I mean, this guy, yeah, okay, I could see him crashing out on this shit. I will say the replying as a game dev and just arguing, like if you're a game dev and arguing with fucking people online, it is a bad look. It is a bad look, okay? I'm able to get away with it because I'm an asshole, and I'm well on my way to probably becoming a LolCow anyways, because of the slop that I make. Right, I make parody bullshit, and I usually match energy. But I'm not going out. I'm not going out to people's projects and saying, hey, this is bad, or like defending like some random fucking shit, right? I'll talk about it, and but if he knows anything about it, and he's just putting his input, you could do that without being a prick, I suppose.
With random people on Twitter.
I will say this is
about
a bad
the most
interaction.
random stuff. In fact, he's even arguing with Grog about the most random.
I've been in VC with Jason when another person gave actual constructive criticism for his MC server didn't end well. No shit, dude. Did you record that? Did you record that? You should sue the streamers who have likenesses in your game. That'd be funny. You're too much like the character in my game, and I need you to fucking I need you to hit that exit button.
Stuff. In fact, he's even arguing with Grog.
I need you to kill yourself.
Twitter's AI. Like, I cannot.
Not recorded, unfortunately. I'm definitely interested in hearing about that. I gotta hear what was the what was the outcome? What's he like? Well, I worked at Blizzard, so actually I know more about this subject than you do, and anything you say is just swill.
Come up with
it's the slop that's inside of a spittoon.
A bigger waste of time than
Again, that's not Kurt Russell. This is the original image, which is also from that very article. It's Stephen Lang. I mean, what's the argument? What's the argument?
In fact, he's even.
Can't believe they fucked Rock up this much. My previous response is correct. The image is Kurt Russell from Soldier 1998, but the monologue is a fan-made 4chan meme inverting Avatar's anti-colonial message. It's not from any film. What specifically seems off? That's Stephen Lang in Avatar. No, that's Kurt Russell as Todd in Soldier 1998. The monologue is a fan-made meme.
Been arguing with Grog.
I mean, this is just making this would make Grok better, wouldn't it? Like presenting evidence to an AI so it can learn from its mistakes. That's a good thing, right? I don't see a problem with this. This is the guy from Avatar. That's the dude from Avatar. It's funny. Everyone on his videos comments is agreeing with him. That's what is shocking. I haven't even read the comments yet. People were rightly upset about him making changes while not playing his own game. Someone mentioned it after Jason joined the VC, already in a bad mood. Guy got banned from the entire community. What the fuck?
Twitter's AI. Like, I cannot come up with a.
I appreciate the link. It's a great read on Link's preparation for Quartich. However, the meme image is actually Kurt Russell from Soldier. It's not Link from Avatar. I mean, that's not Kurt Russell.
Bigger waste of time.
That is not Kurt Russell.
Than arguing with Grok.
So what, man? Dude's on Twitter having fun. Leave him alone. Who fucking cares? Who fucking cares?
AI, dude. And here's like another thing that I think is, once again, it's just such a stupid technicality to die on.
The fact a 2014 game looks this good and comparable to most modern day AAA games should tell you everything about the industry. Were we as a society too harsh on Drive Club?
So this was basically an initial post that praised the graphics of Drive Club, which, yeah, that game holds up extremely well for its time. Like, this is an 11-year-old game at this point, and it looks great. In fact, in my last video, which you can check out here, we checked out the game on a PC emulator, and it still looks great. And then someone came in here and basically claimed that, oh, people are only showing off this game during a rainy scene where everything is glossy and there's a ton of screen reflection, implying that they're hiding that the game actually doesn't look as good and it only looks good during weather scenes. And while it is true that the game looks at its best during like rain and weather, because, well, the weather effects are one of the best looking aspects of Drive Club that hold up extremely well, anyone who's played the game would agree that the game looks great during any kind of weather.
I thought Motorsport looked really good on PS3 because like the mud and the reflective shit on there, so
weather. Like, I cannot come up with any game from the year 2014 that still looks as good as Drive Club, or at least not many. Like, for its time, it was an incredible accomplishment where Evolution Studios, the people who worked on the game, really pushed the PS4 hardware to its limit at a time where the console was still very new, which was impressive. And then he is basically signal boosting this initial criticism, saying 700 likes over 34k views on this tweet here.
Bro, who cares?
Issue at 700 likes. I wouldn't even that the game stuff that's them recently, and I think that really highlights the pettiness of this dude.
Who cares?
So since obviously Overjump Rally is heavily inspired by the Sega Rally games, Xander was part of.
However, if you are going to talk shit on other people's creations, on other people's games, your product better deliver, baby. Your product better deliver. First day on Twitter, yeah, for real. This is this guy. He's baby. Like he's never been on Twitter before. Look at this 700k views.
A community server on Discord for the Sega Rally games.
High fidelity, just raise the
and it just so
electric bill.
happens that the original Sega Rally games have some issues running on.
He's reaching so hard to make points, but they all fall flat. I agree.
Modern PC hardware because they're very old. And so it was the hope of the Sega Rally community for someone who knows a thing or two about modding and, you know, improving games, fixing games, to come in and make some kind of patch to help these games run on modern hardware. And one person who has done some great work getting older games, especially the older Grand Theft Auto games, to run decently on modern PCs with a lot of patches and fixes is Silent. And so when he wanted to actually join the Sega Rally Discord server so that he can kind of talk to the community at hand and just kind of get an idea for what's broken and for where he could actually help, he found out that he was banned before he even joined. I guess he's saying here, so nice to be invited to a Sega Rally Discord server to try and help with some Sega Rally 2 crashes as people there agree. I am likely the only person who can fix them, just to be banned. So it just so turns out that Xander had modding rights on this server and just took the liberty to just ban Silent before he even did anything.
Yeah, that's kind of cringe.
Which is just so petty. And you might wonder why. It's because Silent was already very critical towards pretty much everything we've talked about, especially the Steam Deck debate that I mentioned earlier, but also stuff that I didn't mention in this video. So it's basically some random personal beef Xander has with Silent that he then just took the liberty to completely restrict his access to the...
I think that's pretty gay. I do think that's gay as fuck. Using your power as a mod to fucking just ban people that are that you don't agree with, right? I mean, that happens all the time. Like even here in like what is it, Chud's like the commentary community, even Chud's Discord. I think it was Stylo. Stylo ended up banning Hellbent just because they didn't like them. They didn't like them. Hellbent was an artist, but you know, and she would come in and you know, talk or make some points while they're having discussions and stuff. But they ended up banning her across multiple fucking Discord servers just because they don't like her. Just because they don't like her. You know, nothing. They didn't do anything. They just don't like her, right? I think that's kind of gay. I think it's gay that that developer is actually like a head mod in or a mod in that server and preemptively banned the Silent dude because he received criticism on Twitter or whatever. That's actually gay.
Sega Rally community is this Discord server, although the entire community needs his help, which is so stupid. No one cares about his personal beef with Silent. Nobody. And everyone agreed that this is a stupid reason to ban him from the community server because it has nothing to do with the Sega Rally games. Like, this is from the Sega Rally Discord server. Like, he's replying to a message that said the following. Well, here's the thing. This server is for the Sega Rally series. It's not to play Grudge. And then he openly admits and says, I honestly don't care if it looks good. This guy has been awful to me for over a year with all kinds of slander and smearing. He called me a fraud, a scammer, a thief. Which I honestly could not find any evidence of. I'm not sure if he's just making this up or where this is coming from. He says, I've been silent on this topic to avoid Streisand, like the Streisand effect.
All right, I can't deal with this guy's voice. Okay, I honestly don't care if it looks good. This guy has been awful to me for over a year with all kind of slander and smearing. He called me a fraud, a scammer, and a thief of the song I personally commissioned. Okay, so he must have like took a song or something, or someone said that he didn't. Probably some Jungle Beat bullshit. There are serious accusations. Oh, these are serious accusations. If he was just a random troll on the internet, I wouldn't have cared. But coming from another dev, it's something I can't ignore. I've been silent, pun intended, on this topic to avoid the Streisand effect. Okay, but my patience is running low. I hope he'd stop. But his most recent slander was not even a week ago. And you want me to welcome him to a place I moderate? Not a chance. You do the same. In fact, everyone would do the same. And of course, now he's playing the victim. You know, it's not, again, the personal beef doesn't matter for the Sega Discord, the Sega Rally Discord, whatever it is. Okay? Now, if he were to bring that crap into the Discord, by all means. Yeah, it's still gay. It's still gay. Stop being a little pussy and have a conversation or confront them. Right? Have him in the Discord. If he can help out, have him in the Discord, okay? But if he brings that shit that's not onto, you know, like if he brings the Twitter beef over to Discord, then ban him, okay? If he's breaking the TOS in Discord, ban him. All right? That's whenever it's acceptable, right?
He says, I've been silent on this topic to avoid
TOS. I'm saying like the Discord rules, not TOS. Discord rules.
Streisand.
Wherever
like
the rules are in the Discord.
But my patience is running low. Well, do I have good news for you? The Streisand effect is now hitting you in the face tenfold.
Barely, dude. Like,
because without this drama, I would not make this video right now. And you want me to
this guy's kind of high on his own. He's high on his own supply, I think.
Welcome him to a place I moderate? Not a chance. You do the same. In fact,
they both
everyone
are.
would do the same. Except all the people in the community that disagree with his actions. And then he was further criticized for this. Someone said, like I said, this is not your personal server. It's a gaming community server. Which is absolutely correct. But then he retaliates, it's a server I've grown through the years, not a public space. While I'm not the founder, I'm one of the two admins. The other one hasn't posted in months, and I swear this is gonna be relevant in a moment. I will not let a psycho stalker stay around. Sorry. So the admin that he mentioned, the main admin of the server, who has literally been inactive for literal months, got wind of this situation, came out of hibernation to strip Xander of his moderation rights over this.
That's easy.
Silent reports.
Very interesting developments. The admin who hasn't posted in months came back. They saw OGR Bro's actions and stripped admin powers for abusing them. I got reinvited. OGR Bro may be asked to create an overjump rally server instead of talking over the Sega Rally one. Ooh.
The admin who hasn't posted in months came back. They saw Xander's one is. And well, this is kind of where things.
I think that was well deserved. That was well deserved.
Stand at the moment. So needless to say, this is all incredibly hilarious and was.
Seems cringe, but they need a bigger shovel to reach Jason's level. True. I'll make a comment about that.
Beyond avoidable. Now, I want to finish this video by saying don't go out of your way to harass this dude. Don't mention him in any tweets. Don't do anything to rile him up. All of this is pointless. You're just wasting your time.
You did it!
Instead, just ignore.
Don't be this guy. Don't do what I did. It's not fair if you do it. It's my content.
That is ultimately the worst thing you can do to him anyways, is to just ignore him and his project. And on the off chance that he is watching right now, if he's watching this video, please take some time off social media. Like, this is chronically online behavior. I hate to just say it how it is, but this is what it is. You are firing off tweets after tweets after tweets. You're getting into all kinds of drama. And this is clearly hindering your ability to even work on the game. Like, look, I'm always up for a great comeback story. And I would much rather for this dude to just be silent for a couple of months and then just come out swinging with an awesome new demo that really impresses people than for him to just keep digging himself into an even bigger and bigger hole and ultimately never really have anything come out of fruition.
Yeah,
we've seen this with Pirate Software and his game. We've seen this with Yandere Dev and his game as well. And I really do not want to see this again. Like, I really think this is like the last chance for this dude to like fully realize that he's spending too much time online and to just like lock the fuck in and work on the game. But who knows? Maybe at some point I have to make a follow-up video if there's more drama, but I sincerely, genuinely hope that this is the end of it and that this is all I need to report on this. Anyway,
all right. I think this guy this guy, he was trying to make arguments that just didn't hit, right? A lot of this stuff is like, who fucking cares? It's some fucking retard on Twitter, right? And he's trying to make a mountain out of a molehill. That's a lot of it. There's no way this developer is reaching Pirate Software's level. The Discord shit, like banning the guy preemptively from Discord and kind of like abusing the mod powers, that's kind of gay, right? That's lame. That's lame as fuck. Okay, but the other shit, trolling online, or just having Discord or talking online with people, who fucking cares? That's fine. This asshole, he's like, he made a post and he says, I want a game with crusty ass PS1 graphics, and he's like, I can do the opposite. He's like, you should have reached out to my business email. How dare you reply to my Twitter fucking type shit. Dude spent 2 weeks making this video, making a mountain out of a molehill, and then claims the other guy is terminally online when he is himself. I mean, he probably is. I think most people who are trying to make it on YouTube or Twitch, obviously they're online. They're trying to get, trying to see what's happening, new views, fucking drama, all that shit. He definitely got what he wanted by using this racing game developer as the next Pirate Software as his title. He got what he wanted. But I think this guy, he just doesn't know what he's fucking talking about. And a lot of the arguments he presented just sucked. If he can articulate something better, like to why he thinks this dev should be forced to work on his game. He doesn't have to work on his game. He's not getting any backing. If he's getting backing from anybody, Patreon or fucking Kickstarter or anything like that, then so be it. Then he's beholden to somebody. But right now he's not. So he can take as long as he wants on his fucking game and all that shit. I didn't like this video. See some of the comments. It's so funny how many instances of petty internet drama could have been solved with, yeah, you're actually right, and taking the tiniest little bit of feedback. There was no feedback to be given. The guy, he said criticism, but it wasn't criticism. It was just someone retorting with a snarky comment. Having a racing dev be the same man-child like Pirate Software is not what I had. Okay, yeah. One more thing about Xander is that he fully admitted to using Unreal Engine physics and bought the car models of the game with licensed car logos on them. He's stating that he is trying to get in contact with Sega to support his game because his game contains the branding of car products illegally. That's why the demo was taken down. Oh, interesting. So he got the demo taken down because he doesn't. He could make parody of it. Like change the logos around. If the product's free, there's definitely more wiggle room if the product's free. If he's not accepting money from it. He probably got a cease and desist and got scared. Yeah. Bro could have just changed the car models. Don't contain the copyright stuff. I like how Tokyo Extreme Racer can prove him wrong about his game has to look any other game to work on Steam back. Tokyo Extreme Racer literally looks amazing with the lowest settings. I don't know, man. I think again, I didn't like this guy's arguments. He didn't really present any. The only thing that he kind of owned him on was like the Discord interaction with silent. Other than that, there's been some critical information left out. Maybe I do some more research on this and I'll do a follow-up video of my own. But as far as this guy, thanks for the fucking the content, I guess. All right, let's get to work, man. Let's get to work. Put some music on.